my name is Masha, I'm the blonde from Coding Blonde, and I hope you guys are ready to be inspired because I have interviewed Mayuko, who is an awesome girl, a software engineer, and also a fellow techie YouTuber. If you're not following her channel yet, I will leave a link up here, and you can also see our collab videos up by pressing up here. So yes, but without further ado, I want to share Mayuko's story with you. Hi Mayuko, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for being on my channel and sharing your story with my viewers.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'm super excited for what's to come and just to hear your story. So let's jump straight into it. My first question is, what was your journey like? How did you get to where you are right now? Was it, a straight path, or did it have some twists and turns? How was it?
Yeah, so I will say that I've been fortunate enough, I think, to have a pretty straight path. I work as a software engineer at a startup in San Francisco. And so I think it all started with when I went to college. I went to UC San Diego and I declared as a computer science major. And then I got my first internship, and then my second internship, and then my first full-time job, and then now in my current role. And so it was pretty straightforward. Like it was a path that I knew that it was a path where I knew that this was how it was going to be. But I will say, even though it was straightforward, I think a lot of this was very, very serendipitous. When I was going to college, I did not think I was going to be a computer science major. I was convinced by one of my floor mates in my dorms to be a computer science major. And then finding all of my internships too, like I just happened to know somebody who I was friends with who was hiring basically. And so, and even my current role too, I was just kind of like perusing the interwebs and I found this role open. So even though it's straightforward, like I feel like a lot of this was kind of happened by chance, which is kind of cool. So yeah.
It sounds like you just had these opportunities come up randomly and you took them.
Yeah, I would say so. And I feel very lucky that I have had these opportunities too. Sometimes I do this thing where I trace back, like, how did I get here? Like, how did this even happen? Which is fun to trace because I'm like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't know this person. I would know this person if I didn't know that person. And I wouldn't know this person if I hadn't started tennis in high school. Like, there's this whole thread of people basically that I trace back to like how I got to where I am today. So I owe it a lot to those folks who helped me through the way, because I definitely did not do this by myself, and I've had a lot of support. So yeah, I think I've been very lucky in that way.
That's amazing. It's true that we never expect these things, but they will. It's kind of like a domino effect. You did this, and therefore this opportunity opened up, and then you met this person when you were playing tennis when you were young, and then this opportunity came up. So it's a wonderful experience, I guess. But what was your decision-making process when deciding what direction to take along the way?
Yeah, I honestly would say a lot of it was like a gut feeling. Obviously, I did a lot of research for all of the opportunities that came up. I was like, okay, like where is it going to be? How much is it going to pay? What growth opportunities do I have? Who's going to be my manager? Who's my teammate? And does this align with like where I want to be in 2 to 5 years? So I did a lot of the kind of the logical reasoning of like, is this a good opportunity to take? But also, I think separate from that, or maybe in conjunction with that, there was a lot of just like a gut feeling of just like, I want to do this. Like, I really want to do it. And I know how to identify that feeling within myself when I'm just so excited about something that my heart rate goes up and I can't stop thinking about it. And I think that's basically how I've made a lot of these life decisions so far, for better or for worse. But I think at the end of the day, I truly know what's best for myself, and I know what excites myself, I guess, and my brain and my heart and everything. So that's basically how I've been making decisions up until this point.
That's amazing. And it sounds that it's been very, very positive, which is a wonderful way to look at it. However, always, whenever you have something positive, there's definitely like a challenging side to it. It's just, there has to be some challenging parts to any journey. So have you had that, and how have these challenging times made you stronger?
Yeah, definitely. So everything from working on a really difficult technical problem that never seemed to have an end or the right solution, to working with like difficult colleagues, to like realizing or feeling that I'm just stuck in a place. I think I've definitely met my fair share of challenges throughout this whole time. And I think that in the moment, every time this happens, I feel like, oh my gosh, everything is bad. Like everything is going downhill. And I have a very emotional reaction to these things. But I know that through talking to people who are close to me, through talking to mentors and managers, I've found a lot of ways to figure out how to navigate these things, which ultimately have helped me to like pick myself out of these or solve these problems well. And now that I'm not in those specific situations anymore, I can look back on them and realize, oh, this is how I learned X, or this is how I learned Y. And I've taken those lessons with me to make sure that I don't make those mistakes again, and also shape how I make decisions and do things in the future. And so I definitely have in recently, I definitely have a much healthier view of failure and challenges now than I did before, where before it was just complete imposter syndrome, where I was like, I can't do this because I'm not good enough. Where now every time a challenge comes up, I feel like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to learn. And having that mindset is making the challenges feel a little bit easier to deal with. So yeah, there's been a lot, but I think like that whole mindset of challenges or opportunities is kind of what has made me stronger and continues to make me stronger.
I love that. I think that's the best mindset you could ever have, because then you take them as a learning opportunity. You can take them as the next development in your career and your personal life, which I guess leads me to my next question. What is your superpower?
My superpower. I love this question, by the way. I like that it's called a superpower. I think my superpower, which I kind of alluded to, was like feeling. I feel very intensely, and I think of this as my superpower because I empathize with others very well, and also feeling things makes me think about, or feeling things makes me reflect and kind of introspect on who I am. I think empathizing with others, especially in my current role, is really important, as I'm empathizing with the end user who I'm building for, or empathizing with my teammates who are going to be reading my code. And so that has helped. I think that is really great. I think that just having a human experience and building relationships and doing things for other people is something that I personally value. And so I think that like feeling things strongly and therefore turning it into empathy has been very, very good for me. And I think, shoot, what was the second part that I said? Oh, introspecting. And I think that feeling, and I think I think feeling things as a way to introspect and figure out who I am and why I'm feeling these things has helped me to become a better person, basically. I'm of the mind that I think that you feel before you think. So if you've ever had the experience of just like you're just crying for some reason from something very small and you don't know why, and then you look into why that is, it's usually because you've been feeling this thing, but you haven't even thought these thoughts of like, oh, I haven't even thought that I was overwhelmed. I just feel overwhelmed. And I think that creates a really interesting conversation between you and yourself about like what you could be doing better, how you can change your situation so that you can be happier and feel more fulfilled. So I think that emotions overall I consider as like my superpower.
That's amazing. I mean, it's so important to really be connected to your, I guess, inner self. I don't want to sound too
I almost want to say it's like kind of hippie,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
yoga. Yeah.
I don't want to sound too hippie. That's true, but like connecting with your inner emotions and understanding what experiences you're going through is very important. And as I'm getting older, I completely relate to that mindset. And it's a wonderful superpower for sure. It's awesome. And what is your next adventure?
Yeah. So my next adventure right now, I think I'm currently doing, which is like having a YouTube channel, I feel like is my next adventure. I started my YouTube channel last year and I've been talking about all things tech and my life and stuff as a way to make the tech industry feel more accessible to folks, kind of similar to what Mosh is doing with Coding Blonde. So I'm really excited that we're partnering. And I think that that's been really interesting. I don't have any sort of background in film production, editing, script writing, just writing in general. There's a lot of skills that I just don't have. And so even though I've been doing it for a year, I feel like there's still so much that I need to learn. And that's kind of just been the adventure I've been embarking on. Professionally, actually, in addition, I think also one of the reasons why I wanted to do this YouTube channel is to have a wider impact on folks and especially have people from underrepresented backgrounds feel encouraged to join tech. And so that's the kind of impact that I'm hoping to have on the world, and continually thinking about what I can be doing to make that happen has been a challenge, but a really good one. And professionally speaking, kind of more in the career type of world, the adventure that I'm trying to embark on right now is I actually realized that I really wanted to be a manager, like a people manager.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now I'm kind of like navigating my current role as a software engineer towards that direction by doing project management and other things where I can grow to be that person. Who knows when that'll actually happen, but I think that's where I want to be going towards. And so hopefully it'll all work out.
That's a wonderful adventure for sure, and that's going to be definitely a new learning challenge because it's so difficult a lot of the times to start managing people because it's a completely different set of skills. But that's wonderful. That's amazing.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little bit terrified about it because usually I'm thinking about and responsible for like technical things like a feature in an app and how it works. And being responsible for people is a completely different experience and it feels so much more high stakes. But I think that fear is almost like a good thing. Like, oh, like I think it just means that I really care about this stuff. And so I'm trying to lean into that a little bit and figure out how can I use what kind of my superpower is and make others' lives more fuller and help them succeed in their careers.
That's awesome. And since you are about to take this position of empowering people, what recommendations would you have for those people who are just starting in tech, especially women, and who are thinking about designing their own lives, designing their own paths? What are your advices? Well, what is your advice for people like that?
Yeah, I would say so. One of the things that I feel like is difficult, especially when you're starting out, is finding out what you're passionate about, which like is weird because sometimes there's a lot of people who are like, chase your passion, do your passion. But if you don't know what that is, that can be really hard. And I think one great way to find what your passion is to honestly just try a bunch of stuff. Like keep a very open mind about different opportunities and different things that might present itself. If it feels scary, if it feels like you don't want to do it, then do it anyways and see how it feels in the moment. I think just getting your hands dirty in these things is going to help you understand like, oh, I really don't like that. Or, hey, I really like that. I don't want to do more. I think passion is like a thing where you just feel it, you know? And so like putting yourself in different situations to figure out what that is for yourself is, I think, one of the best ways. I think especially for women also in technical roles, understand that the opportunities that are available to you that are tangible right now are not the only opportunities. You can totally do things that are your own style. If you feel like there's this part of tech that needs to exist that, you know, no one has ever done before, then you should totally feel empowered to do that. I like to think of YouTubing as kind of one of the ways, because I think when I started, there weren't that many like women YouTubers in tech. Nowadays, there's a ton, which is great. But when I started, I was like, I don't know any other software engineers who are doing this. And now that I'm doing it, I'm like, this is so fun because I'm marrying my interest for YouTube and my interest for tech together. So yeah, I would say those are my pieces of advice for those of you who are like trying to find their passions and figuring out what steps to take next. And other than that, I think just, you know, constantly stretch out of your comfort zone little by little. Don't stretch too much, but stretch little by little so that you feel a little bit uncomfortable each time. And then when you feel comfortable again, then keep stretching. I think that's my advice for those of you who are just starting your careers, or maybe you're in the middle of your career and you're trying to figure out how to move forward.
Thank you. That is wonderful. And I love the advice about stretching yourself just a little bit so that you never feel super comfortable in your shoes. You're kind of always on this learning adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not too much, but you always are challenged. That's a wonderful mindset to have.
Yeah, and I think at the same time, like it's important to also know that you have a different speed at which you challenge yourself than others. And sometimes you don't want to challenge yourself, and that's okay. If you need to take a break for a week or a month, that's okay. You should just be comfortable in taking your own pace and don't compare yourself to others too much. Do what's right for you and just kind of feel what pace that is. I think oftentimes we want to compare ourselves to other people, and that doesn't really get us anywhere sometimes. Sometimes we overstretch, sometimes we understretch. And so, yeah, I would say just do what feels right to you. And I think that doing that will help you, get most of the way there.
Thank you so, so much, Mayuko. This was unbelievably inspiring, and just, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have taken a lot of different advice and directions from this interview. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I really like talking about this stuff. I think it's the very like human side of things. And so this was really fun, like really great questions. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And guys, we have done actually 2 collabs with Mayuko already. So you can check them out here using this link in cards, and also there will be a link in the description. Yeah, so we have spoken about technical interviews, and Mayuko has given some advice on those, and also on the tips for people who are just searching for their first job, because that is the critical moment, and sometimes you need some advice. So go watch those videos. They're awesome. And yeah, thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Mayuko. Your story is very inspiring, and I'm so happy that I get to share it with my viewers. If you guys want to see more of our collabs with Mayuko, you can press on the link up here. I had so much fun filming those, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, you can follow Mayuko's channel again by pressing that link, or also there will be a link in the description, and you can find Mayuko on Instagram. I will also leave the link in the description down there. So yeah, go follow her right now. And you can also subscribe to my channel, this one, and also find me on other social media at Coding Blonde, everywhere. So yeah, have a wonderful time of the day you're currently experiencing. Bye.